Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Hey, I almost thought that was you speaking into the microphone over there.
It was. I don't know what you're talking about.
It kind of sounded, yeah, it's like, what? Oh, hey, guys, in case you didn't, guys and girls and cats and kittens, in case you were not aware of it for some reason, now all of you dedicated students of the gun, you already heard the episode we did about the Bob Ford syndrome and what that means. And essentially, it's a new way to describe and discuss character assassination and how it's prevalent in the gun community, shooting sports world. But 2 weeks ago, when we were in Camden, Tennessee, doing the Fight Strong class, I was in James's office and I was talking to him. And we're talking about various things and this and that's and what have you. And I mentioned something about the Bob Ford syndrome, and he looked at me and he goes, "What?" And I got into greater detail. He goes, "Oh, stop. Follow me." So we walked into the studio, and he turned on the lights and turned on the camera, and he says, "Okay, I'm going to turn on the camera, and you're going to say all that stuff to my audience in my camera." And Jay Nightmare Gibson was there as well. So, not today. What day is today? Whatever. Today's Wednesday. The video was released Monday morning, and it's on James Yeager's YouTube channel. And if you want to watch it, you can do that. You are allowed. You are an American. So I just thought I would let you guys know. But all you hip cats, you already know. I know. And my bottles.
Was that me or you? Oh, I thought it was my bottle. I was like, that bottle, please stop.
My plastic bottle crinkled. I'm sorry. I apologize. I need water. I have thirst. So, Jared, do you suppose that Ethan has stopped running around screaming yet? Or you think he's
I don't know.
Still in a perpetual
he's
circle?
Probably
I'll have to contact EJ and ask if Ethan is still running around in a circle screaming. Yes, the Dad Rules book is still available on Amazon. As a matter of fact, it's been out for 2 weeks now. And it is still in the top 10 new releases in the humor and relationships category. It's parenting/relationships humor. And there's a lot of stuff in there. What's funny, when I release my books and I see what they go into a certain category, and I go and I look and I see what other books are in that category by what other authors. And it's funny to me when we do things that are outside of the gun culture or outside of the shooting sports world, that my books will be listed right next to these flaming liberals, like these left-wing lunatic people. Like, for instance, the Patriot Fire Team Manual is in the civics category. And so it's on the Amazon page right next to Ralph Nader and the, how to survive the Trump presidency books and how to take our country back against these Republican fascists and all that nonsense. And there's a little book by a gun-toting barbarian right next to all of them. So it gives me kind of a giggle to do that. But yeah, the Dad Rules book is available. Dad Rules, Wit and Wisdom from a Dad to Whom It May Concern. You say, well, who is that book for? Okay. The Dad Rules book is for anybody who has a dad, anyone who is a dad, or anyone who knows a dad. If you fall into that category, then the book is for you. If you don't, well, then you probably still would enjoy it. But if you have a dad, if you are a dad, or if you know a dad, then the book is for you, and you should get a little giggle out of it. If you don't laugh, then you have no soul or sense of humor, and I'm sorry for you. Oh, and one other thing. Thank you to everybody who has left us a review so far, but I know that there are hundreds more of you who now are in possession of the book and who have not left one. So if you could leave us an honest review on Amazon, that would be great. As what's his boss's name? It just slipped me.
Dang it!
It's I was like Lumberg.
Yeah, Lumberg.
As Bill Lumberg would say, if you could just leave us an honest review That would be great. But make sure you put a cover sheet on it, on your TPS report. Oh, other things. You know what I did, Jared? I went through our official Student of the Gun Facebook page. And on the official Student of the Gun Facebook page, what I did all week last week, you guys, as you may or may not have realized, was that I would take pictures with my phone, and then I would fire them off to Zachary, who is the social media manager for Student of the Gun, and Zachary would post them and share them with you freaks. And so that was actually kind of my way of documenting my week, so I could remember who it was I talked to and what did I see, because I talked to a lot of people and saw a lot of things. And yeah, I did do a self-photo, a self-portrait in front of the Kimber booth. I was looking for Hydroshocks. I couldn't find any. They separated. So
would you say that you did a selfie?
I did a self-portrait in front of the Kimber booth. Yeah, that's what I did, a self-portrait. We went over. Oh, we did go over to the Keltec booth. Keltec's got all kinds of crazy, funky, innovative, different stuff. Whether you like I know there's all these Keltec haters out there. Keltec. Here's what they do. Keltec breaks the mold. Keltec does things that other people wouldn't even try to do. There are some gun companies that have basically been producing the same gun for 50 years, just painting it different colors and adding different accessories to it and calling it different. No, Keltec actually does far way out of you never even thought that was going to happen. That's because George Kellgren is the boss man, and he is the mad scientist genius behind all these crazy things from Keltec. E.J. Owens. We saw E.J. Owens. I saw my friend, my original firearms mentor, John Farnham, who refers to himself as more of an evangelist than an instructor these days, and so I have dubbed him the Tactical Evangelist. And if you have not had the opportunity to take a class from John Farnham, you need to do it. It's FARNAM, and his company is called Defensive Tactics, or DTI. Let me see. Let me look it up for you guys. I want to make sure. I think it's DTI Defense, but I want to make sure. All right, defense training. Super simple, ridiculously simple website. It's defensetraining.com. Type in defensetraining.com or John Farnham classes. I don't care what you do. And you can get yourself into one of his classes, and you should absolutely do that. I've known John Farnham for almost 31 years now. I've known him for over 30 years, John and his lovely wife, Vicki. So I just wanted to go ahead and give a couple acknowledgments before we got too far into the weeds in today's show. But it is Wednesday, and because it is Wednesday, what does that mean? Well, it means we're going to have a Fighting Fitness brought to you by SWAT Fuel.
Fantastic, big body ocean at the big tight and woman and nice, sweet, energetic, big body ocean at the big tight and woman and nice, sweet, fantastic, big body ocean at the big tight and woman and nice, sweet, fantastic, big body ocean at the big tight and I like to move it, I like to move it.
Fighting Fitness is brought to you by SWAT Fuel, and if you want to save some money on your SWAT Fuel order, I recommend starting with the 40 cal multivitamin as a base for your plan. So if you want to save some money, go to SWATfuelstore.com, use the promo code SOTG2015. If you're a grad program member, then you know what to do. Go to the partner discounts page on studentofgunradio.com, and you can save a little bit more than everybody else. Now, today I want to talk about improving your actions, and you can only do that if your actions are quantifiable. If you can't quantify what you're doing, if you can't figure out how to improve, then you're basically, if you improve, it's going to be on accident, which does happen sometimes. But most of the time, you need to be able to set a plan for yourself, set some goals, and actually quantify your actions to reach those goals. Now, today I'm going to talk about dieting, just as an example, or maybe even weightlifting. Obviously, when you lift weights, you can quantify the numbers because you add more weight to the bars, or you add more weights, you pick up a heavier kettlebell, and you know that you're improving because you're lifting more weight. Now, when you're dieting or when you are making a lifestyle change, if you want to call it that. Sometimes you can't, it's harder to measure the actions. And the only way to measure the actions that you're doing is to actually document them. And nowadays, it's 2017. It's so easy to document what you're doing, what you're putting into your body, that you really have no excuse not to do it.
I'm lazy.
Yeah, well, that doesn't count.
That's not an excuse?
Nope.
Oh, is being lazy not an excuse?
Nope, no excuses.
Oh, crap.
If you want to actually improve, if somebody says to me that I'm lazy and that's why I'm not going to do it, then I'm done giving you advice. So if you're an old timer, if you're old school, I guess I'd say, then you can use a pen and paper, get a freaking notebook, write down what you're eating. And if you are a fancy old timer, then you can get on Google and find out the calories of everything that you're eating and document them with it too. But just start with writing down what you're putting into your body every time you eat, or maybe once a day if you could remember everything you ate that day. Write it down. Make it a nightly routine. It's kind of like journaling. Just journal everything that you ate that day. And over time, you will actually be able to improve because you'll look at your little book and you'll be like, holy cow, I ate that day and the next day?
That much?
Yeah, what the heck is wrong with me? And then you'll start cutting stuff out because I don't want to say, maybe you'll be embarrassed about what you're putting into your body because you'll realize it. Now, if you're my age, if you're a tech geek, then you can use an app called MyFitnessPal. And you just, basically it already has food from pretty much every restaurant or store put into the app. All you have to do is search it. And it actually breaks down the food by the macros and the calories that are in the food. So it makes it a little bit easier to document. And so that's MyFitnessPal is the app. So what I'm doing right now, since I took the strength class from Matt Reynolds at Tactile Response, it kind of shocked me into hey, I really need to start documenting what I eat more because I got lazy and I didn't do it. And so I started doing it again, and I wasn't eating as much as I thought I was. I was under my calorie goal, but the types of calories that I was putting into my body, I was putting much more fat and carbs than I was protein. So now that I've been documenting this for about 7 to 10 days, actually it's been about 2 weeks now, I can go in there and I can see exactly how much fat, how much protein, how many carbs I've been putting into my body. And those three things are what make up calories. So I can go in there and then I can actually make a quantifiable improvement in whatever I need to do. And me personally, I need to subtract some fat and carbs and add some protein. And the only reason I was able to make that assumption, or it wasn't really an assumption, but the only reason I was able to figure that out was because I documented everything, and I did it for 14 days. It's only been 14 days, and I've been able to figure out a plan, and now I have an actionable plan that I'm going to do.
All right. Oh, wow. It's been 14 days.
Yep.
Been 2 weeks since we were up there. Wow.
It's crazy, isn't it? Time flies.
It does. Time does fly. It's kind of amazing. And we did. When you go to Las Vegas, or when you travel, it's hard not to eat crap.
I actually, we didn't do too bad.
We didn't do that bad. I've got a helpful hint for you guys. Are you ready? Helpful hint from your Uncle Paul to you. If you're driving across the middle of nowhere, New Mexico, and it happens to be about 1:30 a.m., and you are starving, and you stop at a pilot station that has an Arby's in it,
don't do it.
Don't order the beef and cheddar from there because you will suffer the consequences the next day. That is a helpful hint from me to you about that. So I'm nothing if I'm not generous with my time and advice. Right, Jared? Okay.
Yes.
Crossbreed Holsters, makers of the Super Tuck Deluxe and also the Arc Bag. They're pre-ordering. They're pre-orders now. You want one. You want at least one. If you are a concerned citizen, if you're a prepper, and forget about being a prepper. Just what did we talk about? We talked about the Go Bags. We talked about the Ready Bags. We've talked about all kinds of stuff, keeping your stuff fresh and ready to go for You don't have to be a hardcore prepper to understand the need to protect things from the elements. Do you? I don't think so. So check those guys out. Go to crossbreedholsters.com. Frog Lube, it's green, it's minty fresh. Hello, Larry. Hello, Stacy. Stacy, what did you say you were going to do? You said you were gonna shoot us a video of Larry's reaction as he was listening to the show. No, we hung out with our friends at Frog Lube during the SHOT Show. We went to their booth and we got hugs and high fives. So maybe not high fives, but it was a nice visit, and we were glad to do it. So if you want to keep your guns fresh and clean and functioning and all that stuff, now Frog Lube is not a miracle agent, as in you still actually have to do maintenance on your guns. You're like, what? But Paul, I thought I could just shoot my guns till they're dirty and then just dump more lube on them and then shoot them and dump more lube on and shoot them and dump more. You guys want to know why people complain about Frog Lube gumming up? Because they've been using oil their whole lives. And so what do? You took your grandpappy's gun oil, and you put it on your gun, and you shot it a whole bunch of times, and it got super hot, and the oil went away. So what did? You just poured more on, and then you did it and did it and did it. When you treat a gun with Frog Lube, you clean it, you put the Frog Lube on it, you prep it, and it stays there. It just doesn't burn off. You guys ever seasoned a cast iron skillet? You know what I'm talking about? So what people will do is they're in that old mindset of, every time I go to the range, just dump more oil on it, just dump more oil on it. And so they do that with the Frog Lube. Every time they go to the range, they squirt a whole bunch more oil on it. And they're like, hey, it's all gummy. Yeah, because you never clean your gun. You just keep dumping more lube on it. Stop yourself. That's not how it's supposed to work. You could read the instructions, or you could have someone read them to you. I don't know. But Frog Lube, it's green, it's minty fresh. It is a non-petroleum-based firearms lubricant. Read the directions, use it, move on with your life. Century Arms, the makers of the C39 V2 and the RAS 47 and the TP9 Elite. The Elite. Yes, Jared and I both have Elites. And guess what? Before I went to SHOT Show, I did not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 short videos for you freaks where I featured the Elite. And we're going to be doing even more in the very near future. So pay attention, freaks. Century Arms is the sweetest smelling arms maker in the US of A, and you can check them out at centuryarms.com. And also, in addition, Duracoat. And I am at a crossroads because the TP9 Elite is a really good-looking pistol. Is it not, Jared?
It is.
It is. So it's a really good-looking pistol, and I have this desire to always Duracoat guns, but I don't necessarily need to cover it up because it's already a good-looking gun. So I probably won't. I'll probably just do something else. Maybe we can do your TP9 SA.
Why you got to do? Oh, mine. Yeah.
Yeah, your SA.
I say, why you got to do my Elite?
No, I'm not going to do your lead. I'm going to do your SA.
It actually needs done.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the coating that comes on it sucks. So.
All right, moving on.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a free training video series called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. We want you to have access to this life-saving information. Get instant access now at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of those questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Yes, you definitely can do that. All right, time for the meat of the episode. SIG SAUER, won, according to them and everybody else. They announced, the announcement was made at SHOT Show that they had won the Army's Modular Handgun System contract. Okay, and you say, what does that all mean? Well, all right. Here's what I've got. I've got a source from AmericanRifleman.org, and it's written by a friend of mine, Mark Keefe, who is, if you guys know NRA publications, you know Mark. And it's the Keefe Report. SIG SAUER wins U.S. Army's XM-17 Modular Handgun System contract. and it was published on January 19th, 2017, which was the show. All right. And the envelope, please. SIG SAUER wins the big Army contract, the most important military handgun contract of our generation. The XM17 will likely lose the X and be made by American workers in an American factory for American soldiers. While it says, this is Mark's words, he says, while I've written extensively about the laborious Army modular handgun system process for adoption for the next service pistol to ride in soldiers' holsters, today, January 19th, 2017, write that down, the news came in. And in a surprise development during the firearms industry's biggest event, the SHOT Show, the Army announced that SIG SAUER will be the next supplier for pistols to the United States military. The gun, a variant of the P320, will replace the venerable M9 as made by Beretta, and it was adopted in 1985. Now, all right, so for those of you that don't know, the P320 is very similar to a previous product in the SIG catalog called the P250. And what was unique about that particular gun or series of guns was that it had P, meaning polymer, it's a polymer lightweight frame. The action is removable from the frame. The action, the trigger, all that stuff, that is what has the serial number on it. That is the actual gun. The polymer frame is not the gun. Now, all of you cats and kittens that are hip to the gun world, most of the time, according to the law and the you know that a firearm in modern America has to be serialized. That it's just a piece of aluminum or a piece of steel or it's an oddly shaped piece of polymer or whatever until it gets a serial number. And the moment that oddly shaped piece of aluminum has a serial number inscribed on it, it's just a part or a component. Once it has a bunch of numbers scribbled on it, it becomes a documentable firearm. And we've dealt with that for years and years. The lower receiver of an AR-15 is the actual gun, according to the law, according to ATF. Everything else is just parts. Now, with the SIG pistols, because they are modular, which means they can be changed. You can change the grip configuration. You can put a large grip on it, a small grip on it. You can put different types of slides on it. You can. It's like a transformer kind of a thing. Only if a transformer was a pistol, that's what it is. Now the original P250 came out and it came in kits. So you had one single serialized action. And you could put that into a large frame with a long slide, or you could put it into a compact frame with a compact slide. And what SIG was doing, and they probably still are too, is selling them as kits. And about 10 years ago or so, it was right when I moved down to Mississippi and started working. So it hasn't been 10 yet, maybe 8 years ago, 8 years ago. I had the P250. I had the combo, the kit with the large one and the small one. And I went out and I shot a ton of ammunition out of those guns. And I was perfectly happy with them. They're good guns. They're solid. The trigger press was good. It wasn't overly light, but it wasn't overly heavy either. Well, fast forward to now, and what we have is the P320, which is very similar, if not the same. It's not the exact same as the 250, but it's the same concept. And the Army, it was kind of a shock because the Army put out, this is what we want this and this and this. Now, this is the part where I depart from the article and we talk about what does this mean to you and to the Army? Okay. He said, but Paul, didn't you just do a show about how the Marine Corps adopted the G19? Yes, I did. I did do that. And is the Marine Corps going to throw away the G19 now? No, they're not. Is every soldier, sailor, airman going to, on February 1st, have a new SIG pistol to shoot? No. When the United States Army decides that they're going to introduce whatever, X, and they're going to change rifles, they're going to change pistols, they're going to change this, they're going to change that, even vehicles, helicopters, whatever. The U.S. military is enormous. The U.S. Army is the biggest employer in the United States of America. And you don't change things overnight. Now, for instance, I thought Mark said that the pistol was adopted in 1985, the Beretta. I thought it was 1986. But regardless, when I joined the Marine Corps in 1987, when I went to basic training in 1987, at basic training, we did a familiarization fire. How many of you guys remember FAM fires? Here's a gun. Here's 15 rounds of ammo. Shoot it up as fast as you can. Pow, pow, pow. Okay, now you're familiar with the gun. Move on. Next station. That's how FAM fires go. But then I went to C school before I was on C duty, and I went to infantry school. I qualified with an M9, not an M9, a 1911 in infantry school. Then I went to C school, and I did another qualification with the 1911. Then in early 1987, or late 1987, I'm sorry, I was on C duty, and we were issued and carried 1911s. And you said, but yeah, that was like over 2 years after the adoption of, the pistols, the Berettas, and why did you still have those? Because it takes time. It takes a long time to get every unit new guns. So the Beretta's not going away tomorrow. I guarantee you that it's going to be years, literally years, before a complete changeover has taken place. Now, halfway through my tour of duty, I had 2 years on the USS Forrestal. About 1 year into it, we got Berettas. And we got rid of the 1911s. They took those all away. They gave us Berettas. Now, here is where the story gets interesting. Even though I was in the United States Marine Corps, a fighting organization, at the time, and even though I went through, infantry school, handguns were not really viewed as serious combat tools. Handguns were more viewed as tools, as kind of a badge of authority for officers, and then as a secondary or a backup gun for gun crews, like machine gun crews or mortar crews or, crews on armored fighting vehicles or tanks or whatever. But the handgun really wasn't viewed as a serious fighting tool for the infantry. And also, obviously, you gave them to MPs, right? Because MPs need handguns, because MPs aren't going to walk around. MPs aren't going to stand around on the gate with M16s slung over their shoulders most of the time, are they? No, they're not. They're going to have pistols. So the handgun wasn't really seen as a serious frontline fighting tool. It was more of an auxiliary tool. And the reason that is because, or I can say that, is all the training that I went through initially with the 1911 was essentially marksmanship training. You picked up the pistol, you followed instructions, you loaded 5 rounds in a magazine. Load, stand by, shooters ready, and fire. And you shot a bullseye target. And they went and scored your target, and if you scored high enough, you qualified and got you got shiny silver badges to hang on your chest and all that stuff. But we did very, very little combat or fighting training with the handgun. And the Marine Corps, for the longest time, and I'm pretty sure the Army too, they never examined, they didn't take the time to examine their firearms or their handgun, their handgun training program. Because they had a program, they had a 3-ring binder, and it says, qualification, M19, 11, A1, 45 automatic service pistol, blank. Shooter will begin at 20 yards, load 5 rounds. You get what I'm saying. They never, during our qual courses or our handgun courses, had us draw from a holster and shoot a target. Never. When I was on the Forrestal, it was SOP, and every time I stood guard duty or whatever, it was SOP to carry a 1911 pistol with the hammer down on an empty chamber and a 5-round magazine inserted. Yes. You guys are what? You're like, what? Yes. And this wasn't, 1941. This wasn't 1952. This was 1987. We were not allowed to chamber around until it was time to shoot. Okay, because it was dangerous, right? And you're like, but didn't they have thumb safeties? And didn't they teach you to carry it the way that, John Browning designed it? No, they did not teach us that because they hadn't focused. There had been no real serious hardcore focus on the handgun until we had a brand new handgun, the M9. And so what they had to do is they had to look at what they'd been doing and go, wow, this is a completely different tool, and we haven't looked at handgun training for generations. We got to come up with something new. And that's what they did. The Marine Corps came up with a new. Now, we still went through the basic qual course where you pick the gun up off the shelf, off the table in front of you, shoot, finish, set the gun down, walk away. We did that. But we also went through what did they call it? An interim or a transitional. Went through a transitional course where we had to draw the guns out of our Bianchi. We had green Bianchi holsters, flap holsters. We had to draw the guns out and engage a target, but not just a paper target. They actually had to shoot at those green plastic silhouette jobbies. You guys know what I'm talking about. Something that looked like a human. And they timed us to draw and shoot. And then we had to draw and shoot, and then we had to reload the empty gun and continue shooting. And you're like, whoa, that sounds like super simple basic stuff. Yeah, it does today. But way back then, that was advanced stuff because nobody was doing it. Everybody, when it came to pistols, they just trained with them like, marksmanship tools. Nobody actually made the guys carry. And we started, for the first time, in my short Marine Corps history at the time, I was able to carry a pistol with a round chambered, ready to go. I know, it's crazy, right? So what do we have here with the new SIG modular handgun contract? Well, number one, I'm going to go on board as saying that this is probably not a good idea. Now, stay with me. Calm down. Like, but Paul, it's modular, and here's the deal. You think modular is great because you're buying one pistol or one pistol kit, and it's for you, not for 100,000 troops or 587 separate armories scattered throughout the world in the United States military. I look at this as and kind of like an armory nightmare, but that's just me. Now, let's say that everything goes well and they're able to keep everything sorted and together and what have you. What we've got is we have an opportunity for the United States military, whether it's the Army, Marine Corps, Air Force, whatever, Navy, to re-examine their current handgun training programs and possibly improve them, which would probably be a good thing, right? If they put focus on handgun, and they're going to have to because they're going to have to modify the training programs, because every training program in the military is built around the object. You guys understand that, right? They build the training program around the object. They build the qual courses based upon how many rounds come in a box of ammo. You're like, why is the handgun qual course 50 rounds or whatever? Because it comes in, they come in a box of 50, or you guys get what I'm saying. So what they're going to have to do now is they're going to take this new toy and they're going to re-examine the training, and they're going to re-examine the programs, they're going to re-examine the holsters, they're going to re-examine everything. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing to introduce something fresh to cause people to re-examine the situation. Maybe we can make improvements. Improvements in the way we train our soldiers, improvements in the way they perform. That's a good thing. Now, it's a kind of a good thing for you guys who are gun nuts and gun buffs, because very soon, within the next year, and then the year after that, and the year after that, there's going to be a ton of U.S. military surplus Berettas hit the surplus market, unless they gather them all up and sell them to Ecuador or something, which could happen. But Don't go throwing all your Beretta mags in the garbage yet. Don't go throwing all your Beretta holsters in the garbage yet, because the M9 Beretta is still going to be around for a while. It's going to take a long, long time. That's one of the reasons that we have not and probably will not change from the M4, M16 AR platform until like we come up with lasers or something, because it's not just the guns. It's the guns, the magazines, the cartridges, the components, the spare parts, the everything. It's more than just one gun that goes into the whole program. So, interesting news, interesting times that we live in. Would that have been my choice? I don't know. I mean, people are talking about, it's going to have a manual thumb safety on it, because the Army has to have a thumb safety because they're afraid not to have one. And I'm not going to really get into that. I'll let other people talk about that. But is it Wednesday? Is it still Wednesday? It's still Wednesday. All right, so it's still Wednesday, and we have a Brownells bullet point just for you. Jared, is your microphone on?
Yeah.
It is? You sure?
I try to leave my microphone on now.
Okay. I have a question for you.
Okay. I might have an answer.
Do you feel like talking?
Sure.
Okay, good. I'm not going to let you talk. I just want to know how you felt.
Okay. I feel great. I feel... Yeah.
No, feel the need for speed. How do I test the reliability of a new pistol? We get this quite frequently.
It's actually a really simple answer, too.
It is. It's a super simple answer. And throughout the history of gun writers and trainers and so on and so forth, especially on YouTube now, we got every 10 million experts on YouTube. People like throw around arbitrary numbers like the 1,000-round test. You should be able to put 1,000 rounds through your gun without a flaw and know that it's a good gun. It's a lot of rounds. Let's face it. I mean, it is. 1,000 rounds is a lot of rounds. And is it really, what are you using? Now, if you go and you buy the least expensive bargain ammo you can off the shelf at Academy, you put it in your gun and you take it out and you start having like failures to feed or failures to eject or whatever. And you're like, this gun's a piece of crap. Like, well, is the gun a piece of crap? Or did you buy the cheapest ammunition humanly possible and it's not functioning properly in the gun? Not necessarily the gun. When it comes to carrying a defensive pistol, I don't care about competition and I don't care about plinking. I'm talking about carrying a gun that will potentially save your life. That tool. All right? You have the gun. Check. Now that you have to have something to go with it, you have to have ammunition, you have to have fodder to stick in it. You can't really test the reliability of a gun and get a good feel for it if you go out and shoot 200 rounds of steel-cased Russian ammo, but that's not what you're going to carry. Are you going to carry steel-cased Russian ammo in your pistol as defensive ammunition, as your everyday killer ammo to save your life? Probably not, right? I would hope not. You're just like, what's wrong with that? Well, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's better stuff. And it's not designed, that's not premium defensive ammo, that's practice stuff. So here's what I want you guys to do. Super simple, easy. Are you familiar with the one-box workout? Yes or no? You should be. If you're not familiar with the one-box workout, then go to the show notes, and Jared put a link in there for you, and you can click on that link, and it'll take you to the one-box workout, and it'll tell you exactly what to do, how many steps to take, all of that.
I believe it's a 10-step training program.
So you go through the one-box workout, right? But what do you go through the one-box workout with? I want you to buy 50 rounds, 50. Not 15, not 500, 50. Because if you go, the one-box workout is a 50-round workout. And I want you to follow that, and whatever ammo floats your boat, whatever your favorite flavor is. I don't care if it's Black Hills, Winchester, Corbon, Federal, Remington, Double Tap, Hornady, you name it. I don't care. It's your world. I'm just living in it. Choose whatever super killer, depleted uranium bullet you want to use. Let's say you're a Hydroshock guy, right? Say, all right, great. Pick out whatever flavor it is and get 50 rounds of that. Then go to the range, take your iPhone or your Android phone, open up the one box workout because it'll be there on your phone, and follow the directions. And you should be able to go through the entire, if you can go through the entire 50 rounds without a malfunction, then you should have confidence. You literally can have very good confidence in that gun. Now, if you start having problems, now make sure, I know this should go without saying, but make sure that you actually take everything with the gun. Like if it came with 2 magazines or if it came with 3 magazines, use all 3 of them. Don't just use one and save the other ones for later. Use everything. Everything that the gun came with. If it came with 2 mags, use both. If it came with 3 mags, use 3, whatever. Because you need to not just have confidence in the gun, but in the magazines as well, because those are all part of the machine. Remember that. So the one box workout, if you really want to, like, before I carry this gun, before I rely upon it to save my life, I want to make sure. So do the one box workout, take 50 rounds of premium defensive ammo, not the cheapest stuff you could find to practice with. You can do that later. But for now, we need to make sure that that gun and that ammunition will all work together, and that you'll get 50 bangs. Bang, 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 50 times until the last one goes onto the ground and the slide locks the rear and you're good to go. All right? If for some reason that doesn't happen, then you need to examine, do I need to change ammunition? Do I need to change magazines? Or is there something actually physically wrong with the gun? Now, generally, firearms are made very high quality today, and the chances of the gun, there's something being wrong with the gun, are a lot less than that. Maybe that gun just does not like that ammunition. There are some guns that are made that they do not like the lightweight bullets. If you're using 115 grain 9mm or something like that, doesn't like it. Some of them are the opposite way. If you use the heavyweight bullets, let's say you want to go all Navy SEAL subsonic and you're loading your gun up with 147 grain 9mm and it's not running. You say, oh, this gun's a piece of crap. Everything's crap. I hate crap. Whoa. Instead of running the subsonic, why don't you switch it over to something like 115 or 124 grain and shoot that through it? There may be a difference. Velocities and pressures and all that stuff. So, but if you were looking for a good place to start, get the one box workout. And like I said, Jared, a lot of you guys are already familiar with it, but Jared put the link in the show. Do the one box workout, get yourself 50 rounds of dedicated premium defensive ammo. And if you can run the entire one box workout with that ammo, then rock on. You're good to go, brother. And then I want you to continue to train and continue to practice. So how's that sound? Does that work for you guys?
It sounds like a plan.
All right. That sounds like a good plan. Now, tomorrow is going to be Thursday, and we're going to talk about the new War on Terror. You're like, oh, the War on Terror is over, Paul. Comrade Barry already surrendered and said we were done. Yeah, I know that the previous administration, that they didn't really want to fight their friends over in Iraq and Syria and and Africa, and they didn't really want to put too much pressure on their friends because wink, wink, nod, nod, they're buddies. But the death cult guys, their buddies are gone. Their friends are no longer in the White House. And we got a new War on Terror, and it's getting ready to get hot. I got to think that in addition to molesting goats, they're peeing a little bit down their legs. What do you think, Jared?
I try not to think. Yes, they are peeing down their legs. I was actually just scrolling through my little Facebook thing here before we're ending to see if I can catch anybody else. But I was reading Yeager's thing, and he just said that Trump has fulfilled more of his campaign promises in one day than anybody else has in 8 years.
In 8 years, yeah. Rock on, kids. We will be back tomorrow. Don't miss it.